Are you curious? I mean, have you ever just seen a doll and wondered, how did they even come up with that? How does designing a doll even begin? Well, today's your lucky day because you're going to get the rundown of how to begin. Okay, heads up. I just wanted to put this out there. I basically call everything a doll. So there's no confusion, okay? Absolutely anything can be a doll. It doesn't have to be a person. It could be an animal. It could be a teapot. Basically, to me, if it has an implied personality, I will call it a doll. And it doesn't even matter what medium it is in. I do hope for some of you that might actually open up some doors and let that imagination start really cooking. All right, doll designing steps. Who is the doll for? So basically what you need to decide, is the doll a gift? Is it for yourself? Or are you going to sell? So why is that important? Well, obviously, if it's for yourself, you're going to design a doll around your own interests and likes or curiosity. If you are gifting it to a child or selling to children, you definitely have to consider safety guidelines for any toy. And note to self, each country has their own safety guidelines for toys to be sold. Basically, what I mean that if your doll is going to be for children and you are going to sell globally, you have to know the other countries that you are selling to, their laws and regulations for toys as well. This would affect what materials you could or couldn't use, or even how you decide to construct the doll. Now, if you are selling for adults, you might want to think about who it is that you are selling to, their age, their hobbies, their likes, their interests. It would basically be your target market. In most cases, I design around things that I like, and fortunately, there are others that like what I do too. You can always make dolls based on trends. There's always new trends happening. Without fail, there's always something new coming around the corner, and some people really like working with the trends. Your target market will definitely push your influence of what you make and your prices. And if you're making it for yourself, then go crazy. Make whatever your heart desires. Okay, this next step is one of my favorites. What will the doll be? I don't know, maybe the next one is my favorite. Well, it's kind of a tie, but you'll see what I'm talking about in just a bit. Who the doll is going to be. It could be a critter. It could mean what style or theme or genre you're going to create your doll in. For example, I like fantasy, so I use a lot of fantasy references and inspiration in a lot of my work. For some, this is where research starts. So, example, if you were going to make a rabbit, you might research lots of things about rabbits. Or if you was going to make something in steampunk and you didn't really know what it was all about, you would go and research articles, look up images and things like that to get all the visuals and knowledge you need to really pull that look off, to create that doll, to make it be what you want it to be. Okay, yes, this one is my favorite. Wardrobe, accessories / props. I do mean it all ties in together, but this is where you're going to find the aesthetic of your doll and what your doll needs, its purpose, because dolls have purposes now. You are going to choose things such as textures and fabrics and all sorts of things for your doll at this stage. And these textures and fabrics and accessories that you make can really set the doll up for success. For example, this fabric is an upholstery fabric and it really gives off a certain texture. Now, Fern is a forest witch, so this fabric reminded me of like moss or lichen. So it really adds to her story and gives a great finish and detail to define her aesthetic. In just a moment, we'll talk about how choosing the right color themes are important as well. But for now, I'm going to talk a little bit more about props and accessories as well, and how, like I said, they have purpose, remember? So it helps define them of who they are. Now, a little bit about Feely. Feely is a bard. He is a fae bard. Okay, so he likes poetry and he also plays music. That's why I made him a lute, and he also has a journal to hold his poems. Props and accessories can also convey messages, not just help define who the doll is, but also like a feeling or emotion. For myself, I like to create things with a balance, and I'll probably mention this later on as well. I really like balance in all my dolls. I don't like things to be overly busy unless you are trying to convey chaos. If that is the message that you are trying to convey, then yes, create the chaos. Accessories and props can be the most simplest things. I like to forage and collect natural things. It's perfectly okay to not overcomplicate accessories or props. They can be simple, easy peasy. I will choose 3 to 4 colors to be my main color theme of the doll, and I typically will pile them together to see how they look together. But not only that, I will strictly stay with those 3 to 4 colors that I choose. Now, I may vary in shade. However, I will not stray off that color pattern that I've made. I do that to maintain balance, but now I will add, I may add colors such as white, black, or brown because I consider them sort of neutral, and they can also work into any of the other colors that I've chose. With that being said, some people will choose even less. Some people will choose to work in one color and create a monochromatic look, or maybe create more because they have an intention. Like I said, maybe chaos is involved, and that's perfectly fine. You are the designer of your own doll. And that's the fun part, right? It's your doll. We are coming up on number 4. What size and materials are needed? There is a lot to consider in this stage as well. You know, size and materials that you're going to use, like what medium are you going to work with, but the size will determine how much materials you will need. Another factor to consider is the pose that you want your doll to be in. Will your doll be a standing doll, a sitting doll? Can your doll be posable? All those different things will lead into what materials you will need as well. So if you are going to make it posable, will you use something like a ball jointed doll or make an armature for the doll? All those things are to be taken in and consider. Making decisions like if you are going to use only one medium throughout the whole doll, or will you be mixing it up and using clay or sewing and it becomes a mixed media. All these things are important. We are coming up to number 5 and the last, drafting your doll. Now this is the stage that if you draw, to draw out your doll. Or if you're like me, this is when you just dive on in, because I don't draw, but I know some of you do, but this is when you execute that plan. At this stage is where you think about those unique personal touches, the things that you like, or the things that will help make your doll stand out and be unique. Wishing you the best of time when you design your doll. Thanks so much, and see you next time.